Welcome to Ratio Scale Modelling. This is part 3 of AMT's Star Wars Corporate Alliance Droid, scale 1 to 48. In this build, this is the main part of the build going on, so I'm putting everything together and getting it all assembled. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. So I'm going to start off with the the assembly for the inside of the main, but then going on to the main assembly itself. This is a little push bar or piston that goes inside the main unit. Now, you don't actually get to see a lot of that. I've mentioned that before, but when I was painting them, these are the wheels that go in first, and you can only really see them through the little slats on the side there, and you can only really see them at an angle. So, I mean, if you didn't want to put these in, I don't think you really have to. Of course, it's entirely up to the builder. I prefer them to go in because you do get small glimpses of them. And of course, it does help stabilise the track itself. Now, the track is very easy to put on. It just slips over the main anchor points on the left and right, the main wheels, and there's a little groove it just sits into. You may have to clamp it slightly to get it in position, stop it from springing out, but you really shouldn't have any problems with it whatsoever. On the opposite side, it's the same with the wheels. They just go in. There's two little location points, I should say, for these to fit onto, and they can only go in one way as well. So it is a rather simple way to for these to fit in. The opposite end goes on to the main track, and again, it's got its own dedicated groove to fit into the track. So it doesn't matter which side you decide to build initially. Everything is the opposite, so it should all just push together. I used a couple of clamps to this stage just because it was springing out a little bit. I didn't particularly want to hold it for 5 minutes or so. So once I put some clamps in, I left it. But you can see the main body coming to shape there. So now it's time to place on all the secondary parts. First of all, there's this little handrail thing that goes on. Now, I would suggest doing these in the order the instructions show you. Now, the instructions don't show you order 1, 2, 3, and so on. If you just go by the pictures, it just makes it a little bit easier so that you're not running into other parts once they're on. With the weapons, again, there's this little bar that goes onto it. Now, you can put this on once the weapon's in place, but why would you? It's just easier to put it on now. The contact points are quite small. However, the good thing about them is they're bracketed in such a way they can only go in one way. So one area will have a crescent shape hole, another area will have a square shape hole. So it's you really cannot get them mixed up. And they just push on. Now, if you do have problems placing them in, you can theoretically open them up a little bit. But before you do that, just make sure you're actually placing the right one on. I actually did that. I was trying to place one on and I couldn't get it to fit. Then I realised that I was actually putting the wrong one on to the wrong side, like an idiot. Then the first eyelet to go in, or light. Again, with the weapons, these can only go in one way. So again, you shouldn't really get them mixed up. And the location points for these are inside the inner rim of the main wheel. And as I say, you can't get the left and right wrong because of the way the location points are designed. Same with the supporting struts for the stabilizing tracks. At first, you're tempted to put them on the other way around just because of the actual shape. It doesn't feel natural. Put them on, placing them on this way. But once the other one's in position, it does sort of make sense. I should say though, when you're connecting these, make sure they're thoroughly dry before you're going onto the opposite end. My stabilizing track wasn't quite dried, and it ended up popping off while I was applying the next light or eye stock. So I had to sort that out. You can't quite see it there, but it sort of moved in my hand, and when I went to pick it up, I had to reapply it. So I done that off camera. I just repaired it and put it back on. But when I say repair it, I just apply some more cement and gave it time to dry before moving on. So it's a simple basic rule, but sometimes you do jump ahead of yourself and forget these little things. So I'm just placing on the other weapon now on the other side, and again that will just get pushed on with a little bit of cement. And once that was all dry and fairly stable, I was able then to put on the other stabilizing track. So I played about with this for some time, trying to get the stabilizers, anything fitted. Sometimes the weapons would fall out, and it brought to the conclusion maybe it wasn't dry enough to fit them. But I had a lot of sagging issues, and they were resting onto the stabilizing track. So what I did was I just showed it up a little bit with some clamps, just to position them so they can dry. And that worked out quite well. But it was a bit annoying. They kept on falling off. I'm not sure that it was me or as in I just didn't wait long enough for them to dry or what. But it did happen, and I'm happy to show that. And as I said, the solution was just to hold it with a couple of clamps in position, not actually clamping on it to anything, just using them as a brace to get everything into position. And this as well in part 3. So another short video, but as I said in part 2, if I put both together, the video the build would be over around about 30 minutes long, and I don't like a video to go over 15 minutes long, never mind 30. So this is why I've cut it up into 2 main parts. The next part, of course, will be the final review. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds? If you subscribe to the channel, please do so. Hit the notification bell. That way you'll be kept up to date not only with this build, but all my future builds. Hit the like button. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. And of course, you can share the video. And the only thing to say is, I'll be away for about a week or 2 weeks because it is at the end of the year. So I'm off to celebrate Christmas and New Year with the family. And I'll be back in the new year with another build. So I hope you all have a nice time away if you are away or whatever you're doing. Just have a nice time, whatever you're doing. So for now, thank you all very much for watching, especially for the past year, and thank you all to the new subscribers as well. I very much appreciate it. I'll see you all in the new year. So for now, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.